talking to Barry Brennessel from Silver Spring, Maryland, and he is the winner of the TV Classic SPEC Screenplay contest called Mary Tyler Moore. How's it going, Barry?
Good. How are you?
Good. It was such a pleasure doing the reading of your Mary Tyler Moore script. You have no idea how fun it was for us. And first of all, what was your reaction to seeing the reading online?
It was fabulous. I think probably all writers have the dream of seeing their words go from the page to an actual actor performing the lines. So it was a first for me, and it was really exciting.
And did the characters execute the classic 70s performers okay?
Yeah, I think they did a really good job. Especially, it was interesting because Mary, you could actually not only hear the lines, but the facial expressions were there. It's like you're really picturing Mary in a real episode. So that was a lot of fun.
It was, like I said, it was a pleasure doing this script, and it was very tight. And the fun thing about this spec, it was, I got to give you a compliment. Like, you didn't try too hard. It was almost like it was a perfect, 10th episode of the second season or third season of Mary Tyler Moore. It was it had that proper tone. It was almost like it was an episode itself.
Right. Yeah. I think one of the things I really admire about the show is it's built so strongly on personalities. So I think I had it in my mind. It was just sort of a delicate balancing act between the sort of clash of personalities and the core friendship. So I think once I got the idea for the episode, the tonal balance just kind of fell into place.
And it's the constant conflict of Mary Tyler Moore is that she's always struggling between her friendships and her in this case, it's her friend environment in terms of Rhoda, and then her work environment, and trying to make sure everybody's happy on both ends. But of course, nobody's happy in the end, right?
Right, exactly, and that's classic Mary. She's trying to be, she's trying to please everyone to, the sort of to her own detriment. You see that in a lot of the episodes, and I think she gets backed into a corner by Rhoda, and she has to deal with Mr. Grant's iron-fisted rule of the newsroom, and it just kind of devolves from there.
Well, we all know that in the end, Luke Grant's he's a teddy bear, though, right?
Yes.
But he's the one that seems to be the one that gets it. He keeps giving Mary these lessons, but she doesn't seem to really take them to heart, I guess.
Yeah, it's sort of like a father. I always thought it was a father-daughter relationship. Trying to give her the tough life lessons, and she does eventually understand. But there's a little bit of a learning curve there.
Where would this episode, what season would it be in?
I think I could see it as a later season 1 or early season 2, because we don't have Sue Ann yet, and Mary's still trying to get the rhythm of the newsroom down in Mr. Grant's management style, and she's still at a stage where Rhoda's intimidating her a little bit. Rhoda has, I think in the earlier seasons, she railroaded Mary a lot more than in the later seasons.
And Mary, and eventually Rhoda and Phyllis got their own sitcom, right?
Right, yep.
And then when they left, it was kind of a different kind of show. They kind of had to reboot itself.
Yeah, there was a different rhythm with the Sue Ann character, and Georgette became kind of a major character.
And back then, even Ted Baxter was kind of like a one-dimensional kind of character.
Yeah, it's interesting. You look at the first 2 seasons, Ted's kind of more of a little bit of a pompous blowhard, and then he becomes more of a sort of almost like a clueless little kid in a sense.
Yeah, and they give him a girlfriend and Georgette, and they give him like an emotional arc where he was kind of like just a comic relief, I guess, in the first couple seasons.
Right. Exactly, and you kind of watch his responsibilities grow, and he eventually becomes a father, and you see those subtle changes in his character. there's definitely an arc there.
And the ones that, like Lou, obviously, and Ted Baxter get a lot of accolades through the years, but Murray seems to be the underrated kind of character of the show.
Yeah, Murray's always been my favorite, and not only because he's a writer, but I just thought, there were some hidden, well, not necessarily hidden, but they only surface every once in a while, his sort of unrequited crush on Mary, and the fact that he had this dream of writing a novel and a play, and they never came to fruition. So there's a little bit of a backstory to Murray that I've always appreciated.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I was watching some old episodes just to prep up for the reading, and there was an episode where Murray kind of like tells Mary that he loves her. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It was kind of a landmark kind of episode for the show.
Yeah, it was. It kind of really throws a curve, because I think you get little hints that Murray had a crush on Mary, but when he actually reveals it, I always thought that episode kind of reverberated through the Mary Tyler Moore universe. It was a really shocking revelation.
In Mary, and she never gets a man, right? Like, that's sort of done on purpose.
Yeah.
That she never gets a man. So why did you is this your all-time favorite show?
Yeah, it is. Well, I know it's always hard to pick an absolute favorite, but it's definitely, I'd say, in the top 3. I just thought the writing was always so consistently strong, and I like the fact that the comedy arose, not from a set-up punchline kind of formula, but just, as we talked about earlier, the sort of subtle personality differences that everyone kind of finds themselves in real life, where someone asks you a favor that you're not really comfortable with, or they paint you in an awkward corner that you don't really know how to get out of. And the character arcs too. It's fun to watch the characters grow over the 7 seasons.
And it was also like kind of almost a landmark show at the time, right? Like in terms of the feminism movement. Yeah,
I guess there was. They originally wanted the Mary character to be divorced, but I guess they got a lot of...
too scandalous at the time, right?
Yeah, so they made her a single woman, but even that was sort of novel for the time. I think we had Diane Carroll as Julia, who was not only the racial aspect, but she was also a single working woman, so that it was the start of seeing a strong female character supporting herself and kind of making strides in the quote-unquote man's world. So, there was a lot of breakthrough there.
Yeah, not needing a man in order to survive, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So, when did you write this screenplay?
I wrote it a couple years ago. And actually what spurred it on was Wildsound itself. I watched episodes of classic TV shows thinking, boy, I think I could have written an episode back in the day, but can't go back in the time machine. So when I saw that you had this the SPEC script for the classic TV series, I thought, boy, it would be fun to write an episode for one of my favorites. So I started pondering Mary Tyler Moore, and I thought, where would I go episode-wise? And one day it popped into my head. Years ago, I had a part-time position during the holiday season in a now defunct department store, and I happened to be watching a catalog photo shoot, and I noticed the photographer was using these kind of goofy-looking cardboard props as a background. And a light bulb went off, and I said, Rhoda worked in the department store. What if she got promoted to do this fashion catalog, but she wanted to take it out of this lame studio and put it in the real world? And then, of course, who would she ask? Mary. She used the newsroom, and, of course, that would put Mary in an awkward position, and the whole idea flowed from there.
Oh, that's a cool kind of like turn of events to get to this script reading.
Yeah, they always say the strongest writing comes when you pull little tidbits out of real life. So I think that's true. When you sort of take these germs of ideas that maybe happened in your life or you heard about happening to somebody else, and you kind of build on that.
Have you written like a TV pilot or a spec from another show, an existing show?
Yeah, I've got 3 spec scripts that I did for The Simpsons, and I also did another retro spec script for Faulty Towers, and I did a spec script for a supernatural show that was sort of along the lines of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I've been chipping away at the screenwriting for a while.
Yeah, but TV is kind of your domain?
Yeah, well, I've written novels, and I'm working on a stage play right now, about halfway through that, and short stories, and so I'm all across the board, but I do think my first love is television. I just always loved the sort of continuity of the storyline and the twists and turns in a really strong program, and watching the characters change over time.
And so you said that Marytown Moore is your top 3 show. Like, what are your other favorites?
Well, I think my all-time favorite is The Avengers. I remember seeing that for the first time when I was a kid, and just the sort of witty banter between Speed and Mrs. Peel, and the balance between the slight campiness, but the sort of real-world spy tension and evildoers and that sort of thing just really swept me in, and I thought it was very stylish and fun to watch, and it hasn't lost any of its punch. I still watch it every now and then. What
about right now? Any TV show that stands out for you right now?
Yeah, it's Modern Family. I think is still going strong. I think I love David Lloyd, his writing and his creativity. He worked on Frasier. Frasier I think is still strong, but Modern Family I think it's the same formula. It's not sort of the set-up punchline kind of thing. It's just the mix of personalities and the situations they get themselves into.
Yeah, it's kind of like situation or a reactionary comedy instead of like setting up a punchline, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. Those seem to stand the test of time a little bit more.
I think so too. Yeah, and I think it reflects more of the real world too. All of our social situations, we have these moments where our mouths kind of drop open, or somebody asks us something that stresses us out because we don't want to disappoint that person. And I think TV shows that sort of capture that really are the strongest.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. So Barry, congratulations again. It was, like I said, it was so much fun for us to do this classic. So thanks for submitting it in, and hopefully we'll stand the test of time on the internet for years and years to come.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad you guys had fun, because I had a lot of fun writing it, and I was really honored when I got the news. And I think I've watched it about 5-6 times. It's just it gets better each time I watch it. So
perfect. Thank you.
The fun that the actors had with it.
Oh, the actors had a blast with it.
I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.